I'm going back to my 1500 days. Thank you so much for all the support on the last video. It got over 1,000 views, which is probably 10 times more than any of the other videos I've put up so far. So thank you for that, and thank you to everyone who has reached out to me both for the race and support of the videos. I really appreciate them. So today I want to take you back to a few weeks before the British Champs, where I raced a 1500 meter race that played a key role in my training for the British Champs. So let's dive in. Here I am making my travels to Portland, Oregon for the Portland Track Festival. I had never been to Oregon before, so I was pretty excited to go to one of the biggest running states in the country. So why am I doing a 1500, and how does this help me in the steeplechase? The biggest goal that I wanted with this race is to learn how to get out fast. I'd been noticing a theme in my steeple races this season where I'd been holding back at the start and running a really consistent race, which is great. I just kept running the same laps over and over again and then maybe picking it up towards the end. So I wanted to be able to test myself at getting out fast, getting into a good position. This is a crucial skill to have in the steeplechase, because if you can get out fast and get into a good position, then you have a great view of the barriers. So there's less fear or less having to shorten your step to get over the barriers, and you can just feel much more confident. And other than that, I just really wanted to challenge myself and see how I could push my limits. I wanted to be able to race fast and try and maintain it without fear that I was going to blow up and not be able to get over a barrier. So this was a great opportunity to not worry about that and to test this newfound fitness and speed that I have. So I was very excited for that.
Nice and smooth.
So here I am on the start line of the 1500. I'm in heat 6 of the high performance meet. Now my main goal was to try and get out hard, as I've said. So I was actually shocked when I felt like I was pushing myself really hard to get out fast, and still found myself relatively mid-pack and driving for that front. Now, luckily I kept pushing and managed to get myself tucked in behind the pacer, so that worked out well and it was exactly what I wanted, but I was still taken aback at just quite how fast people go out in a 1500. It's just not something that I'm used to.
Stevie Lawrence, the steeplechaser, ASICS Mammoth Track Club athlete. Stevie Lawrence is in that second position behind the pacer right now.
I've tucked myself behind the pacemaker and we've already started to make a little gap on the rest of the field. So it was not planned for us to go out at this pace. We did not discuss anything beforehand.
A little hot out the gates, but Stevie Lawrence isn't afraid to go with it.
But we hit that first lap in about 66 seconds, which the pacemaker was initially told to go through 800 in about 2:21, so that is significantly quicker. But I was grateful for it because, as I said, I really wanted an opportunity to push myself, and having the pacemaker there meant that I didn't have to think about anything, I just had to cling on to her. And the only thing going on my head is drive, 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 stay on her heels. And I'm very grateful that she did continue to go at that fast pace, probably encouraged by the fact that I went with her. So I think that's a good thing of a pacemaker to be able to recognize that as well.
And behind her, that's Caitlin Cotterill, who's moved into position, leading that chase pack. And a 69-second lap from finish line to finish line there, attributed to Stevie Lawrence. And they're coming up to 800 meters right now, and about 2:15 high.
So we hit 800 in about 2:15, and my PB for the 800 is 2:14. So we have gone through at a rapid pace for myself, but it made me really interested on what I could do in an 800 flat, because I definitely can go quicker than 2:14 now, based on how I was feeling at this point.
Stevie Lawrence wanting to test her fitness out front as she gets to 600 meters to go with a slight grimace on her face, but a huge lead. And I would call it a 35-meter lead right now for Stevie Lawrence, who came through at 4:30, 1600 pace in this 1500.
So now is the tough bit, just me, myself, and I on this track, and I knew that I had to just keep driving and pushing and try not to naturally slow down without anyone there. I think that I did a good job of this, and I can see in my stride how much I am trying to drive forward. Both those last splits were at 69, so I was hitting a consistent fast pace.
First, and then 60, 69, 69, and now 326 with 300 meters remaining. So her coach there, Andrew Castor, cheering her on, the Mammoth Track Club. And the gap continues to grow for Stevie Lawrence, who is pushing hard and driving into the abyss here in Portland.
Got the grimace on my face because with this last 200, that's when you're starting to feel it. You're trying not to let anything go, but I don't have any competition to maybe drive me forward, so it's all just me looking for the time, just trying to get to the end. But I really enjoyed this race, and I could not have asked for much more than this. Here I am coming through the finish in what is a 5-second PB and first place.
She ducks her head down and presses even further at 4:18 on the clock. So that was a 70-second final lap, holding it together nicely and not losing too much time. So huge effort there by Stevie Lawrence of the Mammoth Track Club, the steeplechaser.
All right, I am here with Stevie, who ran a 5-second PB in the 1500. How was that?
It was great. I don't usually do the 15, so this was a real chance to get out there and run as fast as I can, whether anyone wanted to come with me or not.
So it's usually a steeplechaser. What's it like just to run flat? Nothing to worry about jumping over.
It's a lot less scary. Yeah, you don't have that fear of the barriers, and you can really push yourself to the limits, even if you can't see straight.
Excellent. We'll have you sign this table.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed this race. I would love to be in a more competitive 15 next time and really test my abilities in that, but that will have to wait for next year now. I learned a lot about my speed and pacing and what I'm capable of, which definitely filled me with confidence going into British Champs. British Champs ended up being a lot different conditions to the 1500 race, as it was extremely hot in Portland and it poured with rain typically in the UK. But I was still able to use some of that knowledge I'd gained from this race and put myself up in the top 5 in British Champs. I definitely think that I could have gone faster in that start and tested myself a bit more, but with it being a championship race, there's always that kind of, there's a lot more at stake for the position, and sometimes it's not about testing the speed. So I did end up running it a little bit more tactical But now I know for the future that I can really test myself in this steeple, and I'm really excited to see what next year has to come. I've set myself some big goals, and I will probably make a video on those at some point as well to really cement them. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this little race recap and can see my thoughts behind how a 15 could help a steeplechase runner. I would love to hear some of your own experiences and how you may have raced yourself into fitness, or how you have done another event to prepare for your main event. I would find really interesting to hear, so please put those in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more updates on my journey, and I will see you next time.